Okay, so here we have our very first organic fruit and vegetable delivery, and what we got inside our box, I've got some lovely spring greens there, and celery, carrots, probably about 10 carrots, bag of mixed leaves, we've got some organic onions, celery, so some great soup base vegetables there, 3 courgettes, what have we got, bananas, about 5 bananas, some runner beans, butternut squash, raspberries, potatoes, and these gorgeous eggs, which are also free range. So that is my first Riverford Farm organic fruit and veg box, and let's see what lovely things I can make with it over the next few days for the family. Basically, I want to do a vegetable soup, so what I've done today is I've chopped up all the vegetables that came in the box, and I'm just going to put those together. So I just put a little bit of coconut oil in my pressure cooker here, because I'm going to put it all in here and then eventually pressure cook it. So we'll just add some onions. We use 2 of the onions from the box, which we just need to soften. Turn that down a little bit. So onions are a brilliant way to just start the base of the soup, get them nice and soft in there. I haven't worried too much about the size, because once we've done all of these vegetables, cooked them all up and put them in the pressure cooker for some time, they'll be so soft, and then all I'll need to do is just liquidise with the hand liquidiser the lumps. So if you want a really smooth soup, you would obviously liquidise it for a little bit longer. If you want a few chunks, then just do a smaller amount. So they're just softening nicely in there. So what else did we get in the box? We've got some celery. So I took about 3 stalks of the celery. Now, a lot of people don't like celery, but actually in a soup you wouldn't know it's in there. You'll probably find that a lot of soups that you have eaten have had celery in it without you even realising it. Just gives that lovely base flavour. Then we've got some of the chopped carrots here. I think I used about 3 carrots there. Let's get those in. I've got 1 big fat courgette. They're in season at the moment, so it's great to be able to use those to bulk out the soup. And then the butternut squash, I used all of that. Whoa, some of that's gone on the floor. Never mind, we'll pick that up later. So the butternut squash, generally I find when I buy butternut squash from the supermarket, it's got a really, really hard outer shell. It's very difficult to get that off with the knife. So this was really easy to peel. And there were hardly any seeds in it either. So I don't know whether that's the fact that it's organically grown and it's the freshness, but it was certainly much, much easier to prepare than I found in the past with supermarkets bought butternut squash. And then last but not least, we pop the potatoes in. I've chopped up 2 potatoes. I've left the skins on. That's all going to be liquidised down. And then in here I've got some chicken stock, 1 litre, which will add to that. That calms it down a little bit. And then another half a litre just of water to top that up. Just give that a stir. And that's great. So what I'm now going to do is put the top on the pressure cooker and leave that to get to its maximum temperature. I'll pop the top on in a minute. I'm just going to find out the drawer. And once that's done, we'll come back in about 20 minutes and see how soft that's got. And then we've got the organic spinach leaves, which actually I thought were spring greens, but opening it up I'd forgotten it was spinach. So we'll pop that in once we've cooked all of that and let it wilt. And then I've got some sage from the garden here and some chives as well, which we'll pop in for a little bit of extra flavour. So I'll come back in about 20 minutes and we'll see how we're doing. Okay, so we are back in the kitchen and the pressure cooker has done its stuff. And there we've got all of our lovely vegetables, which I'm just going to give a little prod. Oh yes, they're lovely and soft. And it's taken up quite a lot of the liquid, as you can see. So what I want to do now is I want to just put in the spinach. There we go. And I just really want that to wilt on its own. That's it, that's wilting down nicely. So we'll just leave that for a second so it can soften a little bit more. And then, as we showed you before, we've got the these have just come out of my pot in the garden. I think I had about 3 sage leaves in there, and then we've got some chives. So if I just pop those in there, that's it. Let's put those together and then just give that a stir. So you can actually serve this just as it is, as a chunky soup, or if you prefer it slightly less chunky and a nice smoother texture, then you can use a liquidizer. So what I can show you over here is this is what I use for my liquidizer. It's a really simple machine. It's about 20 to 30 pounds. I think it's about £29.99, something like that. This one's actually the Von Chef make, but that works brilliantly, and it's just got the blades in the end there, and you can just hand blend that and make it a lot softer. Now my family actually prefer it chunky, so I'm going to leave it chunky, but I reckon you've probably got at least 6 bowls of soup in there, if not more. So you know, this can last for several days. It actually tastes nicer, I think, soup once it's been in the fridge for a day, because all of the flavours seem to infuse together and give a much nicer taste. But no, the main thing is that you can get all these lovely organic vegetables. The pack that I showed you this morning cost me about £22, which is, you know, really not a huge amount. And I've still got loads and loads left over for several more meals. So this is just one meal that I've made out of part of that box, but it just shows that you can do this sort of cooking at home. It's very, very simple. You don't actually need a pressure cooker. I just did it for the point of saving time, but you could just do this in a really large saucepan with a lid, but you'd probably just want to cook it for about 10-15 minutes more. So anyway, hope that you've enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to do a few more as we go along. Next week's veg box, I've actually added a meat pack as well, so we'll see what turns up in that and see what we can come up with.